Hi, I'm Greg with Environment 321 News. After this week's Adaption story, we'll be taking a closer look at the drama unfolding in the Soc Trang province of the Mekong River Delta in Vietnam.
The Mekong River is the largest river system in Southeast Asia, started in China and working its way through 6 countries down to Vietnam. This mighty river has powered both life and livelihood for all who call this area home. Our focus tonight will be on Vietnam, a country that has jumped to the top of the rice production industry as the second largest exporter in the world. The country owes its agricultural success to the fertile lands of the Mekong Delta. Over 60% of those in the Delta area are farmers, and these farms produce roughly 46% of the nation's food, making them key players in the food security of the region.
However, as we look into the future, a changing climate threatens to disrupt the rice production industry and the lives of citizens who rely on it for their livelihood. To provide a more intimate look at how climate change is already impacting farmers, we go live to the Soc Trang province, where one of our correspondents discovered the story of the Johnson family.
Oh, hello there. My name is Mike Johnson of the Johnson family. The Johnson family has been farming rice in the Soc Trang province of the Mekong Delta for the last thousands of years. And over those thousands of years, conditions to farm rice have been ideal. But recently, due to climate change and certain climate change circumstances, those conditions are becoming far less sustainable. So you could say that things are getting salty in the Mekong Delta.
Salty indeed. One of the main issues threatening the viability of the region is saltwater intrusion. The main causes of this increasing salinity are the rising sea levels and more frequent drought events. This region is also faced with the possibility of increased flooding and stronger storms. Now a closer look at the river itself.
Oh, the mighty Mekong River. Wow, what a river. Here we are, the mighty Mekong Delta. This delta has been the livelihood of myself and my family for generations, and it will be hopefully for generations to follow. However, in recent years, climate change has caused the sea level to rise in the coastal region, therefore bringing more salt water in, and at the same time there has been an immense drought that has been going on, which has caused the river to be at an all-time low that it has been in the last 90 years. I remember when I was a kid farming rice on the Mekong, the river levels were up to here, and the sea levels were all the way down here. But however, the tides are shifting, and the sea level's coming up, and the rivers are going down. These two extreme conditions have caused a perfect storm, which has made it very difficult for myself and my family to grow rice and to sustain our livelihood. Saltwater intrusion has become a major problem in the Mekong. Ugh, salty.
Quite the range of issues the Johnson family is facing. Next, Mikey took the time to walk us down to the coast and point out a few of the problems occurring there with rising sea levels. To clarify for our viewers, sea level rise, although gradual, has the potential to be just as harmful as major storm events. The UN panel on climate change has predicted as much as 30 centimeters of sea level rise by 2050, and other institutions show a 1 meter rise by 2100, which would put 43.7% of the Soc Trang province underwater. While this seems dramatic, rising sea levels are already affecting those in Soc Trang through increased coastal erosion. Furthermore, this region has seen an acceleration of these issues due to the practices of some local shrimp farmers. We'll go back to Mikey in Soc Trang for more details.
Here we are on the coast, and you can already see how erosion is starting to take its toll on this beautiful landscape. Look, over there. Those are the evil shrimp farmers. Those shrimp farmers, who I mentioned earlier, who I have no personal problem with, they're just trying to make a living like myself, but they are cutting down the mangroves, which is increasing coastal erosion.
Thanks, Mikey. The removal of a mangrove buffer zone along the coast certainly is not helping the situation down in Soc Trang. Now, to understand why the people of this region are particularly at risk, we will turn to a Soc Trang government official for insight.
What some people don't realize about our province is that for most, farming is the only way to survive. All livelihoods around here are deeply intertwined with agriculture and specifically rice production. If rice production is no longer a possibility due to saltwater intrusion, drought, or any of the other issues facing our people, there will be no alternative. Those in this region barely make enough money to feed themselves, and the poverty rate makes these people extremely vulnerable. A second major aspect of the vulnerability of the people in our province is that we are at the mercy of elements of exposure outside our control. The general location of Soc Trang in a tropical monsoon climate has always made us more susceptible to wet and dry season variations and strong storms. However, we have seen all of these increasing in recent years. Lastly, being in the Delta, we are at the mercy of those above us when it comes to the river itself. Both the melting of the Tibetan glaciers and the damming of the river in places like Cambodia threaten to further modify the flow of the river. There have been few attempts to coordinate and communicate on a regional scale.
Viewers at home might be wondering if there's any hope on the horizon for those in Soc Trang. Mikey sure thinks so.
Despite all of our prior concerns, me personally, I'm not afraid. I know that not all hope is lost, because thankfully there's been a lot of efforts going into developing new technologies to help cope with this saltwater intrusion and this erosion that is occurring. As you can see behind me, they're building these beautiful irrigation canals that are helping to limit saltwater intrusion, and they're planting more mangroves that is going to help with erosion. Back here on the farm, we've been using more saltwater resistant rice along with working on ways to ration our freshwater use to make it go as far as we possibly can.
But there may be hope yet. Let's turn to one of the members of the community organizations to get a few more details on what is being done to help those of Soc Trang adapt to their changing climate.
As one of the volunteers in this region, I can guarantee that no one is giving up hope on the citizens of the Mekong Delta region. In Soc Trang, in particular, we are hard at work to increase the adaptive capacity of the people who live here. As mentioned before, some of our main efforts include replanting the mangroves.
We hope that they will be able to act as an anti-erosion agent. We also have been providing farmers with new resources such as saltwater-resistant seeds and education about crop rotation and other sources of livelihood. These two methods have been the most widespread because the financial situation of the region demands solutions that are not capital-intensive. However, the problem of saltwater intrusion may require more extensive intervention in the form of new infrastructure. The main problem with this is the investment required and the fact that the climate variability makes it difficult to prepare for both water surpluses in the wet season and water shortages in the dry season.
Thank you. Great information. It appears that everyone is hard at work to save the livelihoods of those in Soc Trang and will continue to attempt innovative solutions as conditions in the region continue to change. As we wrap up, a special thank you to Mike Johnson and his family down in Soc Trang. We wish you all the best. Lastly, we here at Environment 321 News hope that this segment has informed our viewers of the very real impact of climate change that it is already having on populations worldwide and provided a beacon of hope about the resiliency of mankind. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week for another adaptation story. Might be wondering if there's any hope on the horizon for those in the Soc Trang. Mikey sure thinks so.
No!
No, we can't do Soc Trang!
No!
Soc Trang!
It has to be Soc Trang.
Soc Trang! Alright. Viewers at home,